please announce your call sign between transmissions, and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. All right, well, stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing. Go ahead.
Lima 7 Hotel Quebec Romeo Neil in Antelope. Good evening.
Golf Quebec, Bob.
This
November Juliet, James in Gold River.
Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta, Carol in Citrus Heights.
Kilo 3, Romeo Echo Hotel, Anders in Folsom. Good evening.
All right, well, I hope everyone had a safe and Merry Christmas so far. And looking forward to this new year that's coming up. I got Neil, KL7HQR. I got Bob, N6PDQ. James, N6QNJ. Carol, KP4MD. I got Anders, K3REH. Thank you all for checking in on this wonderful Wednesday evening. Do we have any other check-ins? All right, well, we got 6 on the cast, including myself. And does anybody want to make any announcements or have any questions or points to add before we take off?
Yeah, sure. We have Alf, KN6PRD, and Craig, Whiskey Papa 2 November, and Frank, Whiskey 6 November, Yankee X-Ray, who have joined us on YouTube live chat.
All right, well, we want to welcome all the viewers on the YouTube viewing and the live chat as well. So good evening, everyone. Sorry for stuttering here, rather. And so let me check in with, let's see, Neil, KL7HQR. What have you got this evening? Are you ready to transmit?
Roger, good evening, and yes, Merry Christmas to everybody, and looking forward to the new year. So I shall start. KL7HQR, this is going to be PD 120.
CMF, and I was able to copy a pretty good photograph from Neil. That was KL7HQR. Pretty good color spectrum, and it looks like the storefront of a place. It looks like a hut sort of convenience store. It says Baja on the front, but at the very top it says the house of the maybe margaritas. They make you see double. And feel single. Oh, that's just wonderful. Let's just see what this is all about. This is pretty cool, so thanks for sharing. And I also wanted to say that I didn't assert that there was going to be a theme tonight at all, but we did have several passes of the International Space Station this week, and Carol kept on top of that and kept everyone going on Discord with schedules and stuff like that. But I know that the group, some folks in the group, probably captured some slow scan TV images from the ISS. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone has any of those as well. But without taking any fun away from this photo that Neil sent, I'm going to turn it over to Bob. Were you able to copy?
Yeah, real good copy. Not very many pixel pops at all. You got it pretty well. You know, they make you see double and feel single. There's a couple of awnings on the left side, and the place is obviously open. So good quality picture, Neil. 73. What do you say? Happy New Year to everyone. N6PGQ.
Very good. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. Happy New Year to everyone as well, once again. How about James, N6QNJ? Welcome back. I think last time we talked, you joined the net and you were monitoring some of the audio and some of the discussion. Are you up to speed with the slow scan TV, able to receive and copy photos now?
Yes, this is the first photo through my Yaesu 991 to my Windows Surface, hooked with a Bluetooth cable, a USB cable, and it actually works. So I can see the photo, I see the pixel pops. Looks like it may be a place in Tijuana, I'm guessing. Looks very festive and bright out. Looks like there's a flag in the upper center area. I'm trying to identify that, or maybe that's an antenna. Yeah, so I now know how to receive. I don't know how to transmit yet.
All right, well, that's fun, James. Well, thanks for sharing your perspective on the photo. I think whenever us hams, whenever we see metal and any type of appurtenances or metal objects, structures, we want to see the antenna in it. So I was kind of thinking the same thing. Is that some sort of ringed antenna? James, will you be trying to transmit tonight, even though you might not be ready? Or are you going to give it a shot, or are you going to just wait till next opportunity?
I put me at the end of the list, and if there's not enough time tonight, we can do it another week. I'll need to be tutored how to do it.
Oh, very good. Well, congratulations on significant progress there. So nice work, James, and thanks for your report. Carol, KP4MD, did you want to comment on the photo?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I agree. I'm not sure it's in Tijuana, but it looks like it's some sort of a tourist trap in Mexico. And the way I'm guessing that is that red sign in the lower right-hand corner. It says La Hora del Desayuno. The only reason they would have a sign in Spanish saying that it's a breakfast hour is because they had a significant number of Spanish-speaking clientele, which probably means that this is maybe somewhere in Baja California. That's where I'm guessing. But the picture came out really nice. There's so much English signage on there. It must be in some kind of a tourist trap. Maybe Cabo, San Lucas, I'm guessing. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, this is my guess, probably because Neil's been to all these places on those cruises that he goes on. So back to net. This is KP4MT.
All right. Thank you for that, Carol. Let's see. Anders, what you got? K3REH? You were able to copy a photo as well?
Likewise, good reception here. A few pops here and there, but with a very colorful picture. They kind of hide. It says the house of, I assume it's house, could be mouse, but probably house. And then I'm a little bit curious, though, because in the very top of the picture, it looks like a banner, and it's almost perfectly straight. So it's either extremely taut, or it's maybe this is not an actual picture that's taken with a camera. Maybe it's from a magazine or something, or a postcard. Just a guess. K3REH, back to net.
All right. Thanks for that, Anders. And let's see. Back up to Neil, KL7HQR. You're up.
Roger, good evening, guys. Everybody hit the nail on the head. Every time we go on a cruise to Hawaii, the ship has to stop because of the Passenger Service Vessels Act. They have to stop in a foreign country. So in the place where they stop, they go to Hawaii. On the way back, they stop in Ensenada, Mexico, and that's where this was taken. And I just thought that it was the colors were there, and it was so bright, and I took the picture. It's not an antenna up there, and the banner on top, it was a real banner that says, on the right says tortas, margaritas, and it says dinner, and etc. So I was concentrating quickly on the hut, on the stand, and I should have cropped the picture a little bit better. But I just thought it was kind of colorful and maybe not so nice, but an interesting way to advertise that you make double and feel single. And La Hora de Desayuno, on the right-hand side, they're selling, obviously, margaritas for breakfast. And it reminded me that when I was in Texas, they had a big advertising for Lone Star Beer, and a big sign said Lone Star Beer, not just for breakfast anymore. So anyway, back to that.
That's hilarious. Margaritas and beer at breakfast time. Wow. Oh boy. Any comments or questions on that? That was a very good photograph, Neil. Very pretty color spectrum for sure. Good memories there. I'm pretty sure it'd be interesting to see what things are like on the inside. But did we have any other comments or questions for Neil's photo? All right. I was still wondering if that's a secret spy antenna mounted to the top of that post, like an inverted, those are inverted radials or something like that, just for fun. All right, well, how about Bob, N6PGQ?
Okay, well, we're going to change hobbies this evening, so this should be PD 120.
copy a photo, and nice work, Bob. That was N6PGQ. I was able to get across basically a classic or vintage, what looks like a 35 millimeter film camera with a leather case and possibly an array of optical filters on the front of the lens, if I'm not mistaken. They can't tell what kinds of filters they are, but the camera appears to be resting on a granite countertop, possibly, and kind of perched up or pivoted on a case for a 35 millimeter roll of film. So hope I got that right. Too bad I can't identify what kind of camera that is, but that is probably a late 50s or mid 60s era 35 millimeter. I hope I got it right. Well, let me turn it over to James, N6QNJ. Were you able to copy?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at that, and it's a setup I've never seen before. It does look like something that creates maybe a three-dimensional image or something on a old Leica or something. Of course, there's no brand name showing, which is interesting. But yeah, it's a great photo.
Yeah, I didn't really figure out why the three frames were there, but it could be a panoramic or 3D or something. Be interesting. I'm going to flip back up to Neil, KL7HQR. Thank you for your comments, James.
KL7HQR, very, very good copy in here. And you described it very well, Wilson. And I didn't think about filters. It could be RGB filters up there, so you take the same scene with two different filters. But I don't know. Everything that you described is perfect. I have no idea what brand that would be. Back to net.
Well, all right. Jumping down. Thank you for that, Neil. We'll get down to, say, Carol, KP4MD. Any comments for the photo?
Yeah, sure. This is KP4MD. We've got a couple of suggestions from the live chat. Alf thinks it's a stereo camera. Craig thinks it's a 3D lens on an old SLR late 60s. And yeah, the first thing that I thought of when I saw that, perhaps something like the kind of thing that makes those old ViewMaster 3D pictures that would have somehow split the picture into two different views and pass it in through one lens. I don't know. It's very interesting. So back to Annette. This is KP. Oh, I'm sorry. Alf says I just saw Canon release a VR lens, virtual reality lens. It kind of reminds me of that. Okay, that's what Alf says. So back to Net. This is KP4MD.
All right, thank you for that, Carol. And Alf, you're on to something. Virtual reality. That would have been way ahead of its time for what appears to be a 60s vintage camera, but it'll be interesting to see or to hear what Bob would have to say. And how about Anders, K3REH?
I received a high-quality picture for sure, and I tossed it into a photo editing software and cranked up the gamma a little bit and tried to increase the contrast to see what the middle frame says. And I can see that there is cursive writing. It starts with an R, I think, maybe retina or something like that, kind of slanted a little bit upwards. And then in between two horizontal lines it said stereo. So this is clearly a prism for taking stereo pictures, or I assume that there are two pictures next to each other on the same frame of film. And then there are three lines of text that I also can't read because they're too blurry. But with working a little bit with the contrast, I could actually make that out from the middle frame of those three that we have towards us. So yeah, back to Net and a better explanation. K3REH, back to Net.
Hey, yeah, thanks for that. This picture is coming together, no pun intended, but I wonder if it is a 3D camera. So it'll be interesting to hear what Bob has to say. How about it, Bob? N6PGQ, you're up.
Well, Anders pretty much hit it out of the ballpark. The center is the label. It says it's a Kodak Retina, and the camera is a late 50s, early 60s Kodak Retina. It's a 3C. And there were basically three German camera companies that competed with each other. There's Leica and Contax, and both those cameras had removable lenses, and so you could put a telephoto or wide-angle lens onto the camera body. And Kodak chose to make a smaller camera in terms of depth, and the lens retracts into the body of the camera, and then you take it out to take the picture. Since it's not a camera with removable lenses, the front element of the lens is removable, and you put on a telephoto or wide-angle front element to take telephoto or wide-angle pictures. But one of the things that Kodak did is they also produced a stereo attachment that goes on front of the standard 50mm lens. And just like Anders was saying, it puts a stereo image onto a single frame of 35mm film. If you look carefully at the camera on the right side, as we look at it of the camera, there's a little pop-up metal rectangle that goes in front of the viewfinder and kind of gives you an idea where you should frame your picture. And as you can see, it's vertical. Let this drop for a second. There are quite a few accessories available for this camera. They're getting rarer and rarer, but that's one of the most unusual ones for it. You would then buy a viewfinder that had prisms inside it also, and so that one of your eyes would look at the left side of the slide and the other would look at the right side of the slide, and it would form a vertical 3D image. So it's a kind of a cool attachment, and I'm getting back into using old stuff again. So I'll take a digital picture to put it on the slow scan net, but I'm going back to getting out my film developing cans and shooting some stuff that has silver in it, N6 PGQ.
That's going to be a lot of fun. So do you need, when you print these types of photographs, do you need anything to get the effect that you need, like special glasses or any other instruments?
It is a standard cardboard framed 35mm slide with two vertical pictures in it that you then put into a stereo viewfinder, sort of like a Viewmaster, only with a lot more class, and look at your 3D images.
Oh, okay, very good. That's pretty cool. Now, again, what year might this have been? What time frame?
Very early 60s, 61, 2, maybe 59. This is the last model Retina that Kodak made before they made a Retina Reflex, which is pretty much a kind of a dog. Anyway, there it is.
Well, that's an interesting bit of history there. Let me open it up for comments and questions. Very interesting photograph. I'm wondering if there was if there were any military applications or commercial. Would you know of any offhand, Bob?
No, these were marketed to people that would be like Neil back in the day. People with a lot of money that would go traveling, would want to take interesting pictures and share them with their friends. You know, look at where I've gone, and you could think of some really interesting places like up at Yosemite or Yellowstone, where 3D would really make an interesting picture. And you know, the attachment's a little bit large for carrying around all the time, but all you have to do is just snap it on the front of the lens, and your regular pictures are 1 through 10, and this is 11 through 15, and then you go on to 20 or 36 regular. And when Kodak or whoever returned your slides, you'd have a few 3D slides and some regular slides.
Well, all right. Okay. Well, since Neil has all the money, we'll have to hit him up for some repeater donations. How's that? And we'll blame it on Bob. Okay. Well, KP4MD, Carol, if you're ready to transmit, you're up.
Okay, thank you very much. This is KP4MD, and I have to say that I have seen 3D pictures sent over slow scan TV. They're not the full color ones, but they're the ones in how do you say, black and white, but pseudo color, where they put the left eye on red and then the right eye vision on blue, and then you merge them together. You have to look through it with the colored glasses. And I've seen that sort of thing. That would be interesting to try. Anyway, here's a picture, PD 120.
I was able to copy a pretty good photograph from the International Space Station from KP4MD, Carol. At this time, my slow scan TV software is locked up. So what I'll do is I'll turn it around to, say, Anders, K3REH. Would you like to tell us whether or not you're able to copy?
I have a copy of a picture for sure. Lots of little disturbances across the whole thing, so evenly spread out. Though, and maybe what we're seeing is the sum of the pixel pops from when it was first received, and then when Carol sent it out again. But it's evenly spread across the whole image. And clearly the motive here is Carol up on one of her antennas, working on the top of, I think this is the top of the antenna. And just making sure that everything is fine up there. That's what I see. And also, obviously, the 3D camera is right there handy for close to her left hand there, so she can just reach out and take a good picture. So that's what I see. K3RH. Back to net.
All right, nice copy. Thanks for sharing what you were able to copy there, Anders. And I think I saw numerous pixel pops as well. But it's a successful image copy from the International Space Station. So nice work for Carol. I'm going to go to the top. Neil, KL7HQR, were you able to copy?
KL7HQR, yeah, very, very good copy. I thought it was also the aggregate of the specs from the two transmissions, but I'm looking on YouTube at what appeared to be the original picture that Carol sent, and I don't see that many specs there. So I wonder if these are all local UHF specs. What I see is a beautiful view with the background of the Earth and some clouds. Obviously, an astronaut or a cosmonaut. I don't see an American flag in there. In an EVA suit, and a big red arrow pointing to what could possibly be the 2-meter antenna outside of the station that they're using for the ham radio communication. So, but overall, very good copy. Excellent.
All right, very good. Bob, N6PGQ, copy?
Well, I thought that this was a picture of Neil participating in the Elon Musk travel agency on another one of his trips out there doing some sightseeing or something to that effect, since his call sign's down at the bottom. But you never know, N6PGQ.
All right. Thanks for that, Bob. And James, N6QNJ.
Thanks, Wilson. No, I don't have anything else to add. I think it's a great image in terms of what it represents. I do have a lot of pixel pops spread throughout the image. I'm not sure what the origin is. And of course, I see the SLR in the bottom left corner, which seems appropriate for some reason. But no, it's a great picture.
All right, very good. Nice report. James, you're getting the hang of it for sure. You're fast. You're a fast learner, so welcome aboard. Carol, you're up. KP4MD, tell us about your success in N6EMF, net control here.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. First of all, yes, this is a picture of the International Space Station and one of the astronauts out there right by the antenna. That antenna is a metal tape antenna. It's a ground plane. And it's actually, I'm not sure if that's the antenna being used for sending the slow scan pictures. But it is the one that they claim is used for their 2-meter repeater. There's a repeater on board. So this is not one of the pictures that ISS just transmitted. I actually found this on the internet. The ones that the ISS transmitted, I have a handful of those. I think about 9 or 10 of them that I've captured since yesterday. And they all across the top say lunar exploration. And in the lower right hand corner, they'll have a number 1 of 12, 2 of 12. There's a total of 12 pictures being sent. So I think I may have maybe 5 or 6 of them. One of them is absolutely mint with no fade bars across it. And I thought I'd like to send this as something different because I figured somebody else was going to actually send one of the pictures that they received that they got from the ISS. So I didn't want to run the risk of sending the same picture as they did. So that's it. And back to net control. This is KP4MD.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Carol. That was wonderful. I don't have an ISS picture to send. The one that I do have, it came out pretty rough, and there could be some interesting technical discussion behind it, but I think I'm going to take inspiration from Bob and send something from another hobby. How's that? But before I do that, did we have any comments on Carol's photo?
AI6TG for late check-in.
All right. Well, welcome aboard, Joel. We have Neil, KL7HQR, Bob, N6PGQ. We have James with us, N6QNJ. Congratulations to James for getting his SSTV connected to his FT991, and he's on receive for photos. And Carol, KP4MD, myself, N6EMF, and Anders, K3REH. Again, welcome, Joel, and getting ready for a new year. How's that? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm torn. I have a couple different things I'd like to send, but I'm going to send an alternate hobby sort of photo, and I'll be transmitting maybe Robot 36 for brevity. N6EMF, here it comes. Neil, KO7HQR, were you able to copy a photo from Net Control N6EMF?
A very good copy. It looks like either a small workbench being built and then painted, and it has some holes in the back, which are some for cable feeds, and it may be a small operating station stand. So good copy. Back to Net.
All right, very good. Yeah, this one, thank you for that. Neil, Bob, N6PGQ?
I can't tell whether it's a before and after. Looks like the table on the right is being prepped, and the one on the left is the completed one, and I can't tell if those are the materials that you use to paint it black or not, but it looks like a very nice smooth surface when you were finished, and the knots are all gone and everything else, so it looks really good. And I noticed the feet in the right-hand picture at the bottom, N6PGQ.
All right, well, thanks for that. How about N6QNJ? James, go right ahead.
Well, this is your woodworking hobby, I guess. I'm trying to figure out what that table is for, whether it's something that goes in the kitchen or a ham shack. I know we'll learn about that momentarily. But looks like it's very sturdy. It looks like it's got an open side so you can slide a chair or a rolling stool next to it.
Getting warmer, getting close. Thank you for that, James. Next up, Carol, were you able to copy?
Yes, pretty good picture. It came through really quickly. And let's see, it's looks like it's raw wood on the right side, and on the left side it looks like it's painted a dark gray color. Can I guess this is a special table you are putting together for the SSTV event? Probably not, but that's just my guess. Back to you.
Heck, all right. Thank you for that, Carol. You're getting close, though. Next up, let's see, Anders, K3REH.
So I'm with Bob there. I'm not sure if the left is before or if the right is before, but anyway, the mechanical construction clearly lends itself to sit with your legs underneath it there, so you can roll up a chair, and it kind of looks like a two radio setup there with room for a table mic and a key. So looks perfect for that purpose. K3REH, back to that.
Well, you folks are giving me lots of ideas, so thank you. Okay, Joel, you've heard it all. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I'm curious also. To me, it's a bit small, so it's a little too small for a regular, like, work surface workstation, certainly not a workbench. But maybe a small work area, small station in a space-constrained area or something, because it's barely, what is it, 3 feet wide or so it looks like. And the holes, what are the holes for? They're on the back side of it when you sit in it. So in both shots, the front of it is to the left and back, and the back surface is on our side. So obviously the holes are for cables for something. In your half done on the left, I noticed there's still some unpainted surface, and you're being nice and neat and not wanting to get any paint or stain on the sidewalk or the cement. So. But let's see here, pine, some knot. No, those are knots. Those are holes. There's a few knots there. So I can't tell if it's just separate boards or if you got a nice laminated surface top and then put it together. But hey, I'm curious. Well, how have people been doing on their ISS shots? I've had it. My setup running the whole time and picked up some good shots. Main trick I've learned is you have to remember to switch back to that frequency after you're done using the radio, and I have to leave my squelch open all the way because my squelch, I can't tune it down low enough, so I just open it up wide. Back to net AI6DG.
All right, well, thanks for the question on the ISS. I had left my computer and radio on received the last 48 hours and picked up a few very noisy photos and thought something was wrong with my antenna system. And I think I've traced it back to when I reconfigured, kind of rerouted my coax building entrance here at home. I got some cables confused, ended up with an HF coax cable on my 2-meter rig, so ended up, I think that I had some lossy cable inserted on my ISS, MS, or SSTV images and caused a lot of noise. But anyway, maybe we could have a round table on ISS images. The long story on this table here is, I don't know, I'm still grappling about how to tell this story, but my son, the 9th grader, comes to me. He's the musician, so he has a bedroom that he uses a small desk for gaming and other activities like making music on his computer. Well, I ordered a desk previously from Amazon that was made of particle board, and it almost fell apart after about 2 or 3 years of use. So he came to me and he ordered a custom desk. He said, "Dad, let's build a desk." Well, this desk was basically built from scratch, basically from an idea. He reported to me the dimensions, the width, the height, and the depth, and he said, "Let's go do it." I think we went down to Home Depot with a tape measure and a pencil, and we picked up a few scraps of wood, and we brought them home, and we literally cut and measured until it was the right dimensions for everything. We cut one thing, and we would use it as a template to cut the next piece the same size, and we just kept going that way. We finally ended up with this desk, and the holes in the back are for passing cables for, computer and gaming speakers and lamps and stuff like that. So I used a hole saw to cut those 3 holes there, and so it works out pretty good. It's a very, very strong desk. When he's playing video games or making music, no matter how hard he kicks or hits the desk out of frustration, it won't break. In fact, he probably better be careful not to kick too hard. So there's a story behind this. This is a desk we built in one afternoon just as the fall was coming in. Wanted to share this story with everybody because I didn't have anything else. All right. right. Well, that's the story on the desk. On the right-hand side was the desk fully constructed and was getting ready to get painted, and it was in the house the night before it was going to be painted. It was in the garage the night before it was going to be painted the next day. Got the photographs out of order, but on the left is the after photograph, is just before the last coat of paint was going to go on there. And this is like a black chocolate or some color like that is what he wanted. And he was in such a hurry to get the desk, we didn't even finish painting it properly. So he's got it in his room, and it's in service, and I'll just let him go ahead and beat it up. How's that? N6EMF.
Good job, KL7A, sure.
All right, that was inspired by Bob, so thanks for switching hobbies, Bob. We'll try something ham radio next time. Any other comments? If not, we'll swing over to, let me go out of order here. How about KB4MD? Carol, if you're ready to transmit?
Well, I already sent the picture of that antenna off the side of the ISS. If you'd like, I could send an actual picture I copied from the ISS. I think, though, you might want Joel to send a picture.
Thanks for that, Carol. I basically got disoriented in the sequence, so thanks for the reminder. Yes, you had yours. Maybe we'll check with Anders, K3REH. Would you like to send one tonight?
Absolutely. Nice job on the desk. Good with the woodworking every now and then. I will do a fast one. This will be a Robot 36.
N6EMF has copied a photo from Anders, K3REH. Pretty good photograph. When I zoom in, it is not very sharp. A handful of pixel pops throughout, and I can't tell what it is, and I'm not going to take a whole lot of fun out of it. I'd like to see what develops in the discussions, but I do see a device off to the left with possibly an LCD backlit screen and some buttons, and some other metallic type of device on the right, which I can't tell. So how about Neil, KL7HQR? Would you like to take a stab at it?
Well, I'm just as puzzled as you are. It looks like there is a measuring device, as you said, with a screen. There is a artifact in yellow with apparently some buttons, some horizontal metal pieces. I don't know to what degree they're all interconnected. So, but I think there is a glass with ice in the back there. So whoever is doing this was having a nice drink. I don't know what that is. So that can add curious as well.
Let's see if it was a margarita. Thank you for that, Neil. How about Bob, N6PGQ?
Boy, I don't have much to add. I couldn't tell you. It looks like a keypad of some kind with a couple of pieces of metal on it. It might be some kind of a device with the two layers, you know, one on top of the other, but I can't get this perspective. N6PGQ.
Spoken like a true photographer. Thank you for that one. N6QNJ, James?
I'm trying to figure this out. I'm not sure if all the pieces that we see, the drink and the computer device with the screen and the metal are related. They may be related, but they may not be related. It looks like a really complicated can opener to me, but I know that's not it. Also, Wilson, if there is time, I do have a photo I'd like to send if I can, if there's time.
Well, for sure. We'll get you right in there after Anders here. How's that? Thanks for your comments, James. Let's see. For Carol, KP4MD, were you like to comment on the photo?
Yeah, this thing has me stumped. I have no idea. It's I don't know. There's something on the left end. It looks like a chiclet keyboard and some metal fingers that are coming over. Maybe it has something to do with testing chiclet buttons. I have no idea what this is. Back to Net, KP4MD.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Anders, K3REH. Let me see. Did I miss Joel? I missed Joel, AI6DG. Would you like to comment?
Yeah, I agree. This is a puzzler. The resolution is just enough to be tempting us with what we think it might be, but not enough to really tell us what it is. It still is amazing, the image quality with as short of a transmission as that was. But there's also a device on the left with a display and something displayed on it, and a bunch of buttons below that, and a bracket or bars with bracket or something sticking over the keyboard or keypad on the device from the right. I can see one bolt with threads. I can't tell if it's on one bar or the other, or if it's on a bracket that's between the two bars. There's something dark in the background, upper right. I don't know if that's a keyboard or a grill or something. And yeah, that could be an iced tea or an iced drink glass that's half empty in the middle upper. But I don't know. I'm going to guess that it's some jig to test the longevity of the keypad, and it pushes the buttons a million times until they fail to find out what the mean time before failure is. Back to Net, AI6DG.
You know, Joel, when I first saw the photograph, I kind of resonate with what you said. I thought there must be a robotic arm involved, but that didn't make sense to me. So you might be onto something. Thanks for your comments, Joel. Appreciate that. K3REH, would you like to tell us?
So the keypad is a custom keypad with an RFID reader that we had to build about a year ago. And we got an order for these, and the customer was very particular about the longevity of the keys. The keys is one of those silicon key mats that we custom ordered and custom made. And we didn't have any way to really test. Nobody wanted to sit there and push it a million times, so we built this jig, and this comes back to the woodworking part. This is really Home Depot solution. Those three silver bars that come up from the bottom right diagonally over the picture, those are simply aluminum bars that we found on Home Depot. On each one, there is a little rubber foot that sits and pushes the key underneath it. And then the hex nut sits on an axle into a windshield wiper motor that just turns and turns. And the blurry, this is a frame grab from a video. That's why it's so blurry. Apologize for that. But the hex nut simply holds three of those wheel door, closet door hangers. So there are three of these white plastic wheels on the end of those. You've seen them on the top of the sliding doors, regular closet door hanger wheels. And this thing is just turning and turning, and the keypad has software to count how many keystrokes it sees. And we ran this for a few weeks, and we ended up with over 1 million key hits, and the customer is happy, and off we went. So that's what this is, inspired from IKEA. I'm sure you've seen these things in IKEA if you walked around there. So yeah, that's what it is. Joel was right on. So yeah, perfect guess. K3REH, back to that.
Right. Well, a sincere round of applause for Joel, and thanks for the explanation on that, Anders. That's pretty interesting. Product testing. Yeah, I've seen those robotic arms inside of IKEA where they test the resiliency of the chair or the mattress or whatever. Really interesting stuff, and glad that we were able to prove to the customer that the key presses could withstand 1 million cycles. Now, I do have a suggestion. You might want to pour a little salt water on those things, or put some chocolate drops on the keypads to see, because the folks will come in after lunch and they will be pressing these keys, and those extra minerals and salts and snacks, leftover food particles will add to the wear. Right? I'm just kind of having fun with it. Were there any other comments on this wonderful work of industrial prowess? All right. Well, Anders, thank you for showing us some ingenuity there. That's pretty cool stuff. Something I might want to talk to you more about offline. Definitely something to learn there. Let's see. I'm going to jump back up the list. We'll go to James in N6NA. James feels like he's ready, so let's listen carefully to see if he has an SSTV image transmission to kick off.
Well, Wilson, the first thing is I just want to make sure I drag a picture into the transmit screen.
Are you using the SSTV software, the version 1.13a, for instance?
Exactly, and I have 2 photos that I've put into the thumbnail.
Yeah, I don't think you drag. You don't drag, as far as I remember. You don't drag a photo in there. Oh, I think you can. Well, I didn't realize you could do that. So yeah, if you drag a photograph in there, I think it will populate. I've never tried it though. I usually right-click and load using the menu, load from file. So tell us what you see when you load a photo in that manner.
It looks like it worked. I just dragged it. Should I just? And it looks like it automatically went to Scotty 1. Is that the right thing?
Well, you could pick any protocol you want, but what I would suggest, why don't you right-click in that area and click on or select Robot 36. Could you do that?
All right, just did it. Photos in the box, Robot 36. I guess I'll hit TX.
That's correct. Well, good luck in N6QNJ and N6EMF.
Well, Wilson, I'm hitting the button, but nothing's happening. KN6QNJ. I'll keep trying for a second.
Yeah, one of the things you might want to try is the option menu and go into setup, submenu, setup SSTV, and then you might have to go to the miscellaneous settings tab and work on your sound card settings, or at least check them out. Just a suggestion.
Got it. I'll work on that. Thank you.
Okay, well, let me turn it over to Joel. Are you ready to transmit?
Hang on. Okay. Yes, I am. Let me go to TX. Wasn't quite ready. I was expecting another 5 minutes of another picture and discussion on it. So I was off all the way across the room, cleaning out an aquarium.
All right. Let me make one more suggestion to James, N6QNJ. You could also click the 1750 button. That sends a 1750 hertz test tone out. At least you could check, James, to see if your radio is picking up, and that way you don't have to wait for the whole transmission cycle. But you click that button, and it's kind of toggle on and toggle off. You click it to toggle it on, and click it again to toggle it off. That may be a way to quickly test to see if your transmit function is working.
Okay, I'll do that now. Stand by. Did you hear anything?
Nothing heard. N6EMF.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think he's getting push to talk. There's a setting for the push to talk through there. Do you know how to do that, Wilson? I think you have a similar radio.
Well, he's got the all-band FT991, which is an HF rig. I'm not familiar with that radio. I've read about it, seen it on YouTube videos, but I suspect there's something inside the radio that is connected, virtually to the sound card function where, you kind of like you said, Carol, where it might pick up the transmit, but I don't know what that is.
Comment.
Joel. Oh, I'm not hearing you.
I just did a comment calling for you to say go ahead, but I gather that's a go ahead. So I'm not familiar with that radio, but I would expect that if you go to Device Manager on Windows and note what sound devices exist and what the COM ports exist, this is with the radio USB unplugged. When you know what's there, but with it plug it in, and I would expect to see some sound devices appear. Those are the ones you would set up in options on SSTV for the in and the out. And what COM ports appear, that's the COM port you would set up in for the transmit for the PTT.
Comment.
Thank you for that. Somebody else had a comment?
I didn't hear anyone else with a comment, but yeah, I think check the sound card, like what Joel said, check the sound card output settings in NMSTV, and thinking about what Carol mentioned, there must be something inside the radio where there's sort of an audio codec input level threshold that needs to be reached in order to make it transmit, or maybe the function needs to be turned on.
On TX, under options on TX, you have to select the PTT port, and then you have to make sure that you have the right radio command to actually tell the radio to key up. That has to be in settings in the radio itself, that the radio is using the audio path and using the commands from the USB port. So there may be a little bit more of setup required to make this work. The other thing you could try is simply to key up manually, just to hold the key in on your hand mic while you're transmitting. That might also work, but then obviously the audio paths have to be still set up correctly in the radio. So just a few confusing ideas, and I'll make a point of making some notes maybe for next week, because I have the same radio and I could try it myself and give you some pointers. K3 or EH back to net.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, thanks for that, Anders. I want to apologize. I must have doubled with you for about 15 seconds, but yeah, if you have some notes, and I neglected to remember that you got the FT991, so it'd be great if you two could get together, or you could send out some instructions that would help. And I'm wondering if holding the push-to-talk key would help in this situation. Did you want to try that now, James, or put that off for next week?
No, I don't want to try that now. I'll wait till Anders maybe gets to the bottom of this. Although there is there's another TX button in red that I did not press yet. Maybe I can try that real quick.
Okay, go right ahead, N6NA.
If you didn't hear anything, it didn't work. Although it looked like it was working on my computer, it's not going out. Thank you for letting me try. Thanks, Anders. I look forward to connecting.
Double thanks to Anders. Appreciate everybody's patience. That was we all been there, I think. So, how about Joel? Are you ready to transmit?
Here's the best of my ISS receptions, and this is PD120.
No modulation, no modulation. Yeah, it sounds like he's got an open mic, but no modulation.
Joel, N6NA FM Net control here. There's no SSTV audio. N6NA was unable to copy a photo. Joel, were you available to send a photo?
Did you get dead air?
I did. I got nothing but quiet. Was receiving, but no signal.
Okay, one moment. Let me restart SSTV and reselect my device.
So what do we call that when you're keyed up and you're receiving quieting, but there's no signal? What do we call that? We call it full quieting, but there's no information.
Yeah, to me it sounded like an open mic. There was no modulation, no tone modulation at all.
Okay, thank you.
Wouldn't you know the one time I don't try a tone beforehand is the one time it doesn't work?
Well, this is James. It makes me feel better. KN6QNJ.
Yeah. Sometimes things go well, and every once in a while we get stuck, and this is one of those times when we try to help each other out. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting in hearing about how you work out your solution with your FT991 too, James. It'll be interesting. I could see one of those radios in the distant future in my shack, but I don't need one. It would be more like a want. So nice job.
Thank you. Well, I've been impressed as I learn more and more about it. It really is a smart radio. I know eventually I'll wind up with many others, but this is a good beginner's radio.
Yeah, for sure. And Anders made a super good choice. I just wonder how you folks arrived at that. But anyway, especially for the money. Joel, how are you doing out there? AI6DG, N6EMF here.
I'm trying to go. I restarted it a couple times, and I'm trying to reselect devices. Sometimes Windows lose the program and Windows lose track of the device, and you just need to reset the device. But interestingly enough, I can go in and set the input sound setting for the sound card and see it, my USB sound card, but I don't see it for the output, which explains how come I can receive and not transmit. So I may be dead for the night. Just give me one more moment.
All right. Well, we'll just stand by for a minute. Any general comments? We'll be wrapping up the net after Joel's photo when he's able to get one out. Any general comments about the ISS and the SSTV images coming across there?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. If you're looking at YouTube, I've put my the picture that I received, the best one that I received last night. Actually, it was early this morning. I have it showing on YouTube, although I haven't sent it over the repeater, just so people can take a look. This is number 11 of the series of 12 pictures being sent by the ISS, and this is like practically a mint, spotless picture. It's I'd like to get some more pictures this clear. Back to Nets, KP for MD.
All right, well, thanks for the comment and letting us know where we can find the images you were able to successfully download. And I'll be using your photographs as a reference model for trying to troubleshoot what's going on with my shack. So thanks for sharing. We'll be looking for those photos, I guess, towards the second half of the YouTube streaming video, right?
Yeah, I have it on there right now. It's up on the screen since we haven't received any other pictures until Joel starts to send his picture over.
Okay, very good. I have a relatively unadulterated laptop that isn't fully configured yet, so on this laptop I might have a difficult time finding our YouTube streaming channel until I get it all configured. So we'll have to see if I can get there. How are you doing, Joel? Are you making progress?
Wilson James here. I'm ready to try one more thing if Joel's not ready.
I'd love to see you try something. Go right ahead, James. N6EMF here. N6QNJ will try to send.
All right, thanks. No, not working, but it definitely has to do with the settings for the COM ports.
Okay, very good. Well, let's see. I am on the N6NA.org website and looking for the live feed. I could see where we were a few minutes ago. Yes, I see the photos coming in, say for instance at, I can't tell you the time, but they're there. Very cool. I think Joel might be dead for the evening as he framed it.
Yeah, I need to do a restart on the computer, which, considering the amount of things I have running, takes me down for the night for this net at least. So, thanks for being here. Thanks for running the net. Maybe I'll be here next week and we can try it then. Back to Netty, I6TG.
Right. Well, just to reinforce what Carol has said moments ago is that she put up some of the International Space Station photographs that she was able to copy from their slow scan TV images, and they're up on YouTube towards the end of the recording. So if you're going to look at tonight's recording, was it December 29th, you'll probably find them in the last 15 or 20 minutes. Well, tonight. It's been fun. It's been real fun. And so what I'd like to do is just express appreciation to everyone that has participated in tonight's SSTV Net, including Alf and a couple of the other guys, WP2N, I think, and W6NYX, if I got their call signs right. And basically say thanks to the folks out there monitoring us on YouTube. We hope to see you again next Wednesday night at 9 o'clock p.m. Wherever you are, whatever you do, I wish you and your loved ones a safe and happy New Year. And the net is officially closed at 10:17 p.m. Pacific time. This is Wilson, November 6 Echo Mike Foxtrot, wishing all of you a good evening. Thank you.